Timbuktu was not only the desert's commercial capital, but also the spiritual and intellectual nucleus of great Islamic kingdoms that emerged on the southern rim of the desert.
It was a very vibrant place, a very cosmopolitan place. It was very urbane. People from so many different cultures lived there and worked there together. It was very multicultural.
Though one of the most remote sites on Earth, Timbuktu gained renown as an elite storehouse of advanced written knowledge. In 80 private libraries, scholars wrote and studied manuscripts ranging from geography to chemistry to physics. Only a fraction of these medieval manuscripts survive in Timbuktu, but for Islamic scholar Ali Ud Sidi and countless other Africans, their value is incalculable.
It's a treasure, and it's also a proof showing that as Africans we had a past, not only a traditional, an oral tradition, but also writing sources. That's very important for us.
The heart of Timbuktu's intellectual prowess was Sankore University. Now a mosque, it was founded in 1325. As many of Europe's fledgling universities were struggling to gain credibility during the Renaissance, Sankore had already established itself as one of civilization's consummate centers of learning.
To give you an idea how knowledge was really tough at the Sankore University, we discovered a manuscript. And that manuscript is dealing with algebra, mathematics. We translate it into French. We send it to France to evaluate level. The same program is given to the second year of university in France. And that program was given here at the University of Sankore by the 16th century.
Timbuktu prospered by using the Sahara as both protection from invaders and a portal through which it could transport desirable goods from the African interior to merchants on the Mediterranean coast. Trade caravans had carried Central Africa's gold across the desert since the days of the Romans. But during the Middle Ages, the volume skyrocketed. A staggering 2 to 3 tons of gold traversed the stifling Sahara each year. In 1324, Mali's greatest emperor, Mansa Musa, assembled what was perhaps the most immense gold-bearing caravan in history. His procession was not a commercial enterprise, but a sacred pilgrimage. From Timbuktu, Mansa Musa led some 30,000 camels into the burning Sahara toward the holy city of Mecca. According to medieval accounts, they were burdened with silks, jewels, and some 30,000 pounds of gold, an amount that today would equal more than $130 million. As Mansa Musa passed through Egypt, he gave away much of it to the citizens along his route.
The ruler of Mali astonished all of the Middle East by the amount of gold he brought with him. So much gold that he actually destabilized the economy of Egypt for a decade afterwards. He was so free with his gold that the economy went into a recession after he left.
Another treasure powering the Saharan trade routes lay hidden a few tantalizing feet beneath the sun-scorched sands. Salt was the one precious commercial product found in the Great Desert itself. 450 miles north of Timbuktu, near the town of Taoudeni, salt miners carry on a timeless process pioneered by their ancestors. Workers cut 80-pound blocks from the Sahara's ancient lake beds. A necessity for human life, salt was, and still is, critically scarce in the region south of the desert. During the Middle Ages, it was literally worth its weight in gold. To this day, salt caravans from Taoudeni make an arduous 2-week, 450-mile trek south to Timbuktu. Although salt and gold were immensely profitable in the Sahara, another commodity stood alone as the most prized of all: slaves from the African interior represented half the value of the desert's commercial traffic. South of the Sahara, Arab merchants found a booming ready-made slave market, for slavery had been an accepted institution in Central Africa for centuries. Tribes acquired slaves by the thousands in raids and wars, and their owners were often eager to sell them to Muslim traders for European guns, gunpowder, and fabrics. Long processions of captives, linked by chains and neck shackles, trudged across the burning Sahara. Most of the slaves were women, who were to become concubines and domestic servants in North Africa and the Middle East.
The process by which the slaves were moved by way of the Sahara Desert is truly one of the most disturbing and gruesome stories history has to tell. When people on this hideous death march could not go on, the chronicles tell us that oftentimes they were simply beheaded, and so that the empty neck shackle was a sign to other slaves that they had to carry on, or otherwise they would also have to suffer this horrible fate.
On many of the caravan routes, the route was actually marked by the bleached bones of people who had died in transit, and only the toughest people would have been able to survive this crossing of the Sahara.
Over the centuries, some 9 million captives traversed the scorching sands. As many as half perished along the way.